All right, folks, good morning. Does this microphone not work? Good morning. Thank you. I'd like to call the Will County Board Executive Committee meeting agenda to order at 10:07 a.m. Mr. Myers, would you like to lead us in the pledge this morning?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please? Mr. Hendricks,
Richmond, Williams, Butler, Freeman, Hickey, Logan, Newquist, Oxley, Pretzel, Trainier, Winfrey, Van Dyne.
present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Now we'll look for a motion to approve the executive committee minutes for December 11th. Motion Trinier, second by Hickey. Roll call, please.
Richmond, Williams, Butler, Freeman, Hickey, Newquist, Oxley, Pretzel, Trainier, Winfrey, Van Dyne.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Now I'd like to invite anyone from the public wishing to make any comments or statements. Anyone from the public? Seeing none, we have no old business, so we'll move on to new business. Oh, we do have old business. Mr. Butler. Good morning.
So this isn't going to be, I don't mean to create any problems, but I have a point of order. I do not believe that Destiny Ortiz being removed from her position was done correctly. And I don't believe that there was sufficient cost to do it. So I don't know if anybody can rule on that point of order, but I listened to her discussion in her debate, and it was germane to the topic. She was denied the ability to speak by a gavel, by removing the mic and talking over her. All violations of parliamentary procedure. Okay? Then, she was actually delayed 10 minutes from the time she started to talk to the time she was trying to give her speech. So I understand that that was disruptive, but there is a procedure for that. The chair could have called to have her removed from the floor. And that would have been the disciplinary procedure that would have been warranted for that situation. That was not done. Later, she's removed from her chair, which she wasn't, this infraction didn't even happen in her committee, because if I go back on my memory, and I never have once heard Member Ortiz speak out of line or be slightly disruptive, ever, in all the time I've been here. And I feel that it is an abuse of power to remove her from her committee chair. That infraction didn't even happen on her committee. There's been many members on this board who have had committed that same infraction. And nothing has ever happened to them. So I think that if somebody wants to pull someone off a committee, that it has to be done properly, and it has to come before the board in a hearing, and then the board will decide if that is in fact a rule that needs to be disciplined and what that discipline should be.
Okay. I guess I have two statements. One being, under assumption, you are saying that the removal of Chair Ortiz was because of an incident. That was never put on public record. It was never, not one person has asked me for the reason. So your assumption is incorrect, first of all. Second of all, as Speaker of the Board, I am the one who appoints the chairs of all the committees. And it is my opinion that I am the one who can remove anyone from any chair of any committee. So that is my answer. And I will not be willing to discuss the reasonings in public forum.
I would like to appeal that ruling because I don't believe that that is correct.
Okay. If, well, I would say I had a feeling this was going to come up. I believe our county board rules is not clear on this specific situation. But when our county board rules are not clear, we revert back to Robert's rules. And I believe I have, like I said, every right as Speaker of the Board to appoint chairs of committees and also remove them. If you feel different, then you might have to talk to somebody and go through a different procedure, but that will not be taking place at any county board meeting.
Well, I guess we could have a special meeting to discuss that if we wanted to.
I would check with the avenues that you would like to proceed with, and good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other old business? Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. Number one, I'd like to invite Colin Dusing up to discussion of the land resource management plan. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning. Again, my name is Colin Dusing. If you don't know me, I am the long-range planner for Will County, and our long-range plan is called the Land Resource Management Plan. And we are currently starting to update it. The last time it was updated was in 2011. And so the plan looks for updates every 10 years or so. So we're a little behind, but then of course, COVID hit. So we have brought in some consultants from Tesca Associates, Mike Hoffman and Michael Blue, who will be leading the charge in the update.
Thank you, Colin. Chair, members of the county board, pleasure to be with you here today. My name is Michael Blue. I'm joined by Michael Hoffman. We're both vice presidents at Tesca Associates, a land use, urban design and planning firm that's been in the Chicago area for 50 years. We have offices in Plainfield and up in Evanston, and we'll be leading the charge, if you will, in working with you all to update the land resources management plan. We are, as you can see in the slide here, joined by a team. We'll be working jointly with Baxter Woodman and AECOM, and I'll say a couple things about them on the coming slides. But if we go to the next one, I'll tell you a little bit more about Tesca. As I said, have been around for 50 years. I guess this is your 51, Mike. And do all sorts of things for municipalities and counties and governments. And you see kind of the list here, everything from landscape architecture, zoning, economic development planning, public engagement, and so on and so forth. We do a lot of work that relates to comprehensive planning, master planning, working with communities and working with counties. And Mike will talk a little bit about that in just a minute. As you see on the right side here, just really briefly, you have the full depth of our firm and our expertise that we'll bring to all of these areas. The next slide, two slides talk about our partners. The next one talks about the good folks at Baxter Woodman. They are an engineering consulting firm who, again, are very full service. They are municipal and county oriented. They have 17 regional offices, as you see, and one of their main offices that they've had for a while is in Mokina, and we'll be drawing on them to look at questions of infrastructure and transportation as we go through and look at updating the land resources management plan. Our other partner are the folks at AECOM. The next slide talks a little bit about them. AECOM is a very large, very national firm. We'll be working primarily with their economic development and their market assessment teams to understand what are the market and economic forces that drive development and growth, nationally, regionally, and locally, so that the decisions that the plan makes and the recommendations that come out of the plan that relate to land use decisions are based in the reality of the economy. That's kind of the overview of what we'll all be doing. I'm going to ask Mike to talk a little bit more about that, and then I'll come back and talk about the process.
Thanks, Michael. Next slide, please. So between the consulting team, we have worked in just about every community in Will County. I was trying to look at the map earlier. I think maybe Elwood might be the only one that I could think of offhand that we haven't. But we're very familiar with communities throughout the county and the issues that are involved here. I actually work out of our Plainfield office and I'm based here. I live in Shanahan, so I'm a Will County resident. And we are very familiar with things that are going on in the county. So I think that'll help us get up to speed and running very quickly on this process. So next slide. And the next one too. The Land Resource Management Plan, why is this important? Well, one, state statute outlines the Land Resource Management Planning Act and highlights the key components of it. But basically, it's a way to kind of protect the environment, build on your natural resources and the conditions that are here, as well as matching that with the desires of the community, the desires of the county, socially and economically, to make sure that everything works together and cooperatively. It's a way to kind of resolve conflicts between those things as sometimes. And one of the things I really like about the process is it is designed to integrate the input of all the different taxing bodies in the county into one overall view. I worked on, and actually I'm updating right now, Kendall County's Land Resource Management Plan. And that has been a great tool to kind of get cooperation between municipalities and counties and different levels of government. And it kind of looks at it holistically. And I think it's one of the major benefits of doing a land resource management plan. So kudos to that, to you guys for having that process in place. Next slide. So why is it important to have a land resource management plan? One, first and foremost, I think to make decisions that are legally sound, right? If you are following your plan when you're making a zoning decision, when you're looking at implementing different things in the county, that gives you a very good basis for those decisions. So if you're ever challenged on those things in court or anywhere else, it can save you a lot of time and money by one, avoiding some of those litigations to begin with, and two, if you are challenged, provides you a very logical basis for the decisions you made, which will then hopefully stand up in court. So that's probably the biggest reason. Another one that is really important in my mind is it's a great tool to use when you are going for grant applications. If you can say that you've documented the need for this study or this evaluation or this work in a land resource management plan, it really helps to further your cause and case to make those things happen and to get that funding. So whatever you're spending on this plan, probably you can get back in a heartbeat for future grants and those kind of things later on. So we really like that aspect of it. It is a great way to pull together the resources and the activities of different plans that the county has done. CED, your community or economic development agency has done, different municipalities have done, into a complete package of looking at economic development and the environment and all those things rolled into one thing. So it is a great tool to use and a great way to consolidate and community input, create an overall vision for the county, and give you a good strategy going forward. Next slide. So some of the tools that we have in this process, and this is going to be a great way to kind of update and clarify goals and strategies going forward, kind of get everyone on the same page, if you will. It is a way to reflect the current issues that are facing the county, the trends that we're seeing in development and economic development and the environment, and put those in a policy document that gives you some clear direction going forward. Next slide. Yeah. So economic drivers, economic development is certainly important to the county. We want to make sure that Will County has been thriving, and we want to make sure that it continues to do so. So economic development is a key piece of this, looking at different areas, different regions of the county, working with your Will County Center for Economic Development to make sure that the policies are consistent with their vision of what's happening, and coordinating that with the county's desires and goals, and then understanding population change and what we anticipate happening in the future, making sure that we have room and appropriate accommodation for future development while addressing things that might be concerning to your residents and the businesses in the county. Next slide. We want to make sure that we're coordinating all this with the infrastructure that's in place, making sure that we're ahead of the curve, if you will, on those things, working with your transportation systems and plans and all modes of transportation, not just cars and trucks, but rail and bike and pedestrian, all those kind of things working coordinated together with different municipalities in the county, making sure that we're looking at stormwater issues, flooding issues, wetlands, the environmental resources of the county, and then coordinating with the Forest Preserve District and your park districts in the county to make sure that we have a good connected and integrated open space system as well. Next slide. So with that, Michael will continue.
So just a couple of quick words about how is all of that going to happen, and the timeline. The plans take about a year and a half. The reason they take a year and a half is there's a lot of data collection. There's a lot of time that's involved in the process being iterative. It's reviewed. There will be a steering committee made up of a subcommittee of the land use committee of the board. And so they're going to review what we do. Staff is going to review what's prepared. And that happens both with data collection and analysis and then the eventual plan making. And the other part of that is public engagement, and timing those things kind of takes a while. So the plan kind of takes about an hour and a half. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Plan takes about a year and a half. The bottom line is there's data collection and analysis, and then based on that, there are recommendations. And the recommendations are going to focus on updating what are the two key elements of the current land resources management plan. There's the policy gateway document, and I know you know these documents, which is kind of the goals and objectives. What are we trying to accomplish? And the other is the forms and concepts handbook, which is, all right, we know what we're trying to accomplish. How do we do it? What are, if you will, the rules of the road for how to do planning and manage development in the county? And those are the two key elements there, and that will become the final element where it says prepare final plan. Those will be the two pieces that get updated. The next slide talks about a key element in the process, and that's public engagement. And glad to talk about this in more detail, but public engagement these days really happens two ways. It happens online and it happens in person. And our process talks about both. Online, no surprise, all happens on a website. We're plugged into a lot of tools that make the website interesting and fun to use. Our absolute favorite is this kind of drop a dot and leave a comment. Really important for a county plan, especially a county as large as Will, where people can attach a comment to a specific geography. We collect these over time, and they really do become part of how we direct the plan. The next slide talks about some of the additional and in-person engagement pieces. So we talk to a lot of stakeholders. We talk to the people who understand the county. As Mike said, the firm and our partners have worked throughout the county, but to talk to people currently about what's going on is important. We'll do a series of open houses. It's not 2 open houses, it's 2 series of 4 open houses that will be done throughout the county in different parts of the county. We'll have some information that goes out in terms of these ongoing newsletters that will go to your constituents, the jurisdictions that Mike was talking about, and just gets the word out about what's going on with the plan. And then we'll do a couple of surveys, a couple of quick polls, not real long, annoying surveys that people have all had enough of. But to the extent there are specific topics that come up, we do what we like to call these quick polls, which is, hey, here's a few key things we want to hear from the county constituents about, and we'll incorporate that. So beyond that, the last slide is just, well, it says thank you. But before that, if there are any questions, we'd be glad to answer any of them. And most importantly, this is our exact kickoff. We are starting today. And we want to thank you for the opportunity to work with all of you and help do planning for the long-term benefit of the county.
Thank you so much. I believe we do have some questions, so I'll start with Member Balich.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing that. We've had other things like that in the past, and we changed a lot of our procedures and stuff like that. And I think this is a good idea. But I think the most important thing you need to look at is solar. We have numerous lawsuits right now. And, you know, after I was at a meeting yesterday about solar, and one of the things that we can do as a county, which we don't do, and you guys could address that early on, maybe, and we could implement it in our policy early on, would be the cost of doing things, our permitting fees, our what we allow the solar companies to do. So we should be doing the max, whatever the state of Illinois has in their law. We're not going to be able to go against their law, obviously. I would, because I don't like the law. But, you know, the county's not going to do that. So we should be, permits should cost the maximum, not what we charge now. I think it's $8,000. We should charge the most we can charge them. Then we should charge them to use our roads, the most we can charge them. So if we operate like that, these solar companies are frankly going to go out of business in a short while because all these other new technologies are already starting in other states. So why do they want to bring in something that don't work in the winter? You know, I get it because Illinois is supporting green energy. And so it's like we're one of the states that, oh, go over there. They can do whatever you want in Illinois. And they pass laws that remove the county board's authority to say no. And so if you guys want to address that right away, because I think that's probably the biggest issue we got right now that is affecting us the most, because these court cases are coming up and we don't really, I don't think, have all the data that we could, not data, all the things that we could be doing to stop them from even coming here. And that's by making everything cost the max. So the charge for them will be so high that maybe they won't come because we're losing really good farmland here. And it's like you were talking about the environment. Well, our environment is going to end up being a bunch of solar panels with a bunch of stakes in the ground that leach bad metals into the ground. So instead of wooden telephone poles, you're going to have iron or whatever they make those stakes out of going into the ground. So everything about solar panels is bad, including that they are not practical. So that's what my ask of you guys is, to work on something to really put an end to the solar problem that we got.
Thank you, Mr. Balich. Executive Member Richmond?
Only to say that it's a common concern in a lot of the communities we work in. We'll absolutely be addressing that issue for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Frankie. Mr. Richmond?
Great. Glad to hear that. Thank you very much. So my question is actually for Colin. So last time we did this was in 2011?
That is correct for the update of the existing plan.
Okay, yeah, because I was able to find that online.
Yep.
And we normally do this like every 10 years or so?
Correct.
Okay, all right, great. Because a lot of things do change within 10
Yes,
years. We've
yep.
had a lot of stuff happen in that. So now we're looking at 15, 16, 17 years of that. And Steve brings up a great point, is the fact that there's a lot of technology, a lot of things
Yep.
are. So do you look into, because I saw you say infrastructure in that, I'm sorry, Colin, thank you very much.
Next one.
Yeah, no, thank you. You guys say infrastructure in that. Do you then look at where, because you mentioned the world, the nation, you know, the region and all that. Do you then look at where things are headed with the technology portion of that infrastructure? Or is that something that you guys don't touch on?
No, that one of the reasons we like to have AECOM on the team, honestly, is that they are a national firm, actually an international firm that is cutting edge on a lot of the technology things that are out there right now. So they will be providing us input and ideas about where we think things are going over the next 10 years, so we can begin to prepare for that as we develop this plan.
Thank you. Committee Member, Mr. Butler?
So you're not just overseeing properties that the county owns, but you're also trying to oversee and integrate projects that the county has and how that will relate with the people. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was going to say as a land use plan, it will help the county make zoning decisions for properties that are in the county, not in municipalities. But the value of that is that it helps to coordinate what's happening at the edge of the municipalities. So it's about working together with the communities that will have issues or there will be land use questions for the county to ask.
And if we were to have you do this, would you be answering to the board, or would you be working with the executive's office?
Well, the county board will ultimately look to review and adopt the plan. So it'll be a county plan and be a board plan.
And so with the transportation plan, the way it is, would you be an integral part in that?
We'll be looking to build on what's been done from the transportation plan so that the information that was collected to do that will be part of our work. The recommendations that were done will be part of the work so that land use and transportation go hand in hand, right? So where there are decisions that have been made or recommendations that have been made about transportation decisions, that will help be folded in together with the land use decisions.
So how will your input be different than what is standard procedure for IDOT or Will County's Department of Transportation?
Well, again, we're looking at more than just the transportation. We're looking at the land use and looking at the transportation as a component of that overall system of land use.
So let me be more specific then. So we have projects that are planned into the future,
Right.
4 or 5 years indefinitely. People don't want them. Oftentimes they find out about them after millions of dollars have been spent in studies, and then it's too late to back out, or everybody feels it's too late to back out. So how are you going to change that procedure so that we get that upfront from the communities before we spend all this money on the studies? How are you going to positively affect that problem?
So some of the, like the newsletters, some of those outreach things that we pointed to in the presentation, we'll be sending those to the community so that they'll know what's going on with the plan. I talked about those open houses that we would do. One of the things that we wrote in there was to have not just the open house for the community members and business people and stakeholders, but to have a little bit of I forget what we call it, like an hour meet and greet with local municipal officials beforehand so that people know what's going on. Part of the value of this is to get the word out about what the county has planned, land use, transportation, economic development, so that everybody's got the opportunity to hear about it. Now, they have to come to the meeting, they have to read the newsletter, I get that. But a big part of the plan is reaching out so that county residents, unincorporated residents, and municipalities and their officials will know what's going on.
I guess the question that I'm trying to get at here is how's that different than what they're doing now? Because we already have those meetings and we have a committee that kind of goes over that. So what are you going to do to positively enhance the problem that we're having, that we're not actually feel like we're getting solved through these ordinary or our regular committees?
That's a great point. And one of the things, and Mike went through the list of the benefits of doing the plan, is that the discussions that are going to be had as part of the update of the land resources management plan are not about pending developments. So it's not about something where, you know, when somebody comes to you with a development or a project, it's very emotional, right? It's front of mind. It's changing something right now. The idea of looking forward with the plan is to ask these questions about 2 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. So that we're helping to inform those decisions so that when you all, and again, go back to that slide that Mike was talking about, when you budget, when you make decisions about infrastructure, you've got some of that information and you've got that news. And frankly, the constituents of the county and the municipalities, it's all out there for them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Ogala, I hope you understand that I go to the committee members, but I do have you listed in the queue, so. Member Trenier.
Thank you, Speaker Van Dyne. I just have a question on how closely you work with municipalities. One of the things that we've faced here, again, dealing with solar, the municipality will come in and say, hey, that's within X number of miles of my border. I want a subdivision there. Doesn't matter that this landowner wants to sell their property and a solar company wants to buy it. The municipality feels like they have the right to decide whether or not that solar company can be there. So how closely do you work with them? And does the final plan include these buffer areas and give us some indication of what they view that land should be in the future?
So a number of things. One, we are going to look at all the municipal plans and kind of consolidate those into a complete picture so we understand what the municipalities are thinking. We'll look at boundary agreements between those municipalities because that's an important component of that. And then we'll try to have some joint meetings with some of those municipal folks where there's some issues and conflicts between what those plans say. So we have some form consensus among those things. So those are all pieces of what we'd be doing in this process. that's what, as I mentioned, one of the reasons I like the land resource management plan is it's a way to pull those folks together and do that. I mentioned we've been doing it in Kendall County for years. We did a corridor plan there 20 years ago or something like that. Reconvened that whole group about 6 months ago, and surprisingly, the plan is, not being surprisingly, but the plan is working. People are following that plan, it's working together, and they're still cooperatively planning to make things work. So I completely get that the solar is an active issue in the county and really throughout the state of Illinois right now. I would agree with the gentleman who mentioned that I'm not particularly pleased with the way the state law came about either. But we have to work with that and work within those parameters and work cooperatively to find solutions that work for everyone. So.
Well, I'm a big supporter of solar. I think without it, our electrical costs would be even higher than they are already, just because the demand has increased so much, and anything we can do to feed that demand or satiate that demand is important. But I also believe in property rights. If I own something and I'm the clear owner, I should be able to sell it to whoever I want, whoever's going to buy it, whoever wants to pay me the most amount of money. And I have a problem with these municipalities that say, well, no, you can't, sell that to a solar developer because we want there to be houses there. It doesn't make sense to me. And so that's the kind of disagreement I would like to see and I don't know that you can work it out, but I'd like those people involved in the discussion so that we really can use this land plan going forward. I don't feel, and Colin may disagree with me, I was only on the land use committee, I think, for 2 years, maybe 4, it felt like 10. But I don't recall ever referring so much to our comprehensive plan when cases came before us. And maybe it was mentioned in the 400-page documents we got for each one of the cases that came in front of us, but I don't recall the focus really being on that too often. So I'm glad to be a part of this one, even though I was on the board then. I don't think I really paid much attention because I wasn't on that committee. But I have a little more free time these days, so I'll be able to focus a little bit more on what this comprehensive plan, how it's put together. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Chair Newquist?
Thank you. My question actually really kind of goes along with member Trainier's, because I sit on land use now, and we frequently run into competing plans, where our comprehensive plan will say one thing, the municipality's buffer will say another. So my question was more just in general, not just regarding solar, but in general, what's your approach to resolving the competing plans, if you will? Or is it just something we have to live with, agree to disagree, so to speak?
It may come down to the latter, but you try to avoid it, right? I keep going to another example, but I'm in the midst of doing this update for Kendall County right now. We've been sitting down with municipalities individually and saying, look, here's the areas where our plan differs from yours. Let's talk through those things. And 90% of the time we can reach an agreement. There's 10% we're not going to agree, and that's just how it is. But we do try to identify the differences and talk through them. And that's one of the reasons, honestly, it's really important to keep your plan updated. Each municipality, Joliet's going through an update of their plan right now, right? And other county and communities in the county probably are or have certainly since the last time you did your plan. So this is a good way to pull those things together and create some consistency between the plans.
Thank you. And Chair Freeman?
Thank you. So this is going to be a 10-year plan. And in that 10 years, there's no guarantees that if I come to your meeting and I give you my input as to what I would like to see, I'm going to be here in the next 10 years. I might sell my house, I may move. And we run into that. People say, we don't know. And I don't know if there's any way you can solve that. That falls on us. But with that plan, I do think it's important to have the other entities, the Farm Bureau, the land developers, the solar, we have to have a fine balance, would be my only suggestion. But my biggest question is we have come across where it's zoned, say, industrial, and someone wants to turn it into housing. They want it residential. Are you going to look at those things and say this industrial area should be changed to a different zoning?
What the plan should do, what the plan will do when all is said and done is it will provide context, structure, and a good decision-making process for when you're faced with those, right? So it's not a crystal ball, right? And as Mike said, we're going to look as hard as we can into issues of technology, transportation, all these things that are coming. But I actually work with one community, happens to be in Lockport, now I told who it was. We heard a comment in a meeting. It says like no plan survives the first developer that comes through because they're going to ask for something else, right? And you know what? We know that that's the reality of how this works. And so it's not just going to make sound land use recommendations. It's going to talk about if somebody comes before the county and says, you know, it says industrial, but here's residential. Here's what we want to do, right? And what the plan will do is will help provide a bunch of questions to say, all right, why should we effectively amend our plan because you want to do this? And it may well be worth listening to. It may not be worth listening to, but the plan creates the structure for having that conversation, right? And if somebody's not here in 5 years or in 10 years or in 7 years, well, that insight to the conversations that we're going to have in 2026 and 2027 is going to be there. And it's going to go, you know what, we had this conversation. We talked about going from residential to industrial, residential, or commercial, and whatnot. Here's what we were thinking then. Here was our goal for the county. You know, that overall goal of quality of life and economic development, stuff like that probably doesn't change. The land uses might, but that vision that you all have for your county is probably pretty consistent. And what the plan can do is it can explain that. And I like using the plan to put in front of the developer, the applicant, and go, you're not matching this. Tell us how you're at least meeting the intent of what we're looking to do. And what it does is it separates the ideas that are way off from the ones that are worth your time to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no other comment. No, I'm kidding. Let's, Ms. Ogala's been waiting patiently. Remember Ogala?
Thank you. So I have a couple questions. So Will County is largely unincorporated in the southern part of the county. And so when you set up these meetings, where will you have them at? Because in the past, I know I attended way back when they did it, and I ended up going to Frankfort Township. Frankfort Township was nice, but it's not really in the rural community. It's close, but it's not really there. So my question is, well, the land use resource plan impacts the unincorporated, and I understand there's unincorporated throughout Will County scattered. The vast majority is in the southern, eastern, and western half. And so will we have a focus in those areas to hear what those people and their municipalities have to say, as well as townships? We can't forget that, because there are some areas where I represent and the speaker that are very rural. We don't have the municipalities. It's a township with one precinct, but they do have a land resource plan, and they're always sort of overlooked. So is the plan to focus more of that there? Or, you know, if you go to Bolingbrook and Plainfield and places like that, even Joliet, their thoughts are so much different. They don't live in the unincorporated area, which is where we have our ordinances.
We are big believers in taking the planning process to the community, right? So we will absolutely have meetings in rural parts of the county, probably in township buildings and that kind of thing. We'll work with staff to figure out exact locations. We haven't even had those conversations yet about exactly where they're going to be. So I can't tell you where, but I can tell you that we will have them geographically spread out throughout the county and make sure that we emphasize areas that are more rural in that process.
Okay, that's great. And also make sure we include townships, just not municipalities,
Right.
because like I say, some townships have no municipality whatsoever, but they have their own plans and things like that. And then as far as addressing the solar, I know that's a big pickle for everyone in the state of Illinois. And obviously, we always need more energy, and all energy sources should be considered. And so that just because the focus here is that one industry is given carte blanche over every other industry is the problem. So And I know we have a land resource, we've hired someone and Frankie will be discussing that during land use to help us with the ins and outs of that. I don't know if they'll have you guys work together on that, but, yeah, any suggestions to help us do that? And of course, the problem we've had with solar is because the municipalities have their plan and it's planning that this area would be residential in the future. And then, of course, other things have come up and we haven't had that agreement. So I was the chairman of the board for 2 years prior to Joe being the speaker. I changed the name. And so anyway, one of the things I did was have a business after hours meetings to meet with the different villages and have that conversation so we can try and work together as best we can. Like you said, there'll be times when we simply will not agree, but most of the time for us at Will County, we should look at and say, you know, what are you looking at, Joliet, and try and work with them as best we can because they're the municipality and they have more say in everything than we do. But I'm looking forward to this. I participated in the last one. Like I said, I went to Frankfurt Township and there was all kinds of information. That was really good. And then my only other thing will part of the plan be looking at what Will County is today? And obviously there will be growth, but looking at, are there ways that we can look at preserving, say, our farmland? We do have farmers that are looking at solar. A lot of those landowners live out of state, or it's a family dispute. The parents have passed and now the kids have it and it's a nightmare. So they end up selling out to solar. But a lot of our family farms, they want to remain that way. Would you be looking at a way that we could possibly develop a ag preservation? I think it's Kane County has a big ag preservation plan out there. Is how we could offer that to our farmers who are generational farmers, probably, who want to do this, to put ag preservation for the future and help find a way for us to, as a funding mechanism, to help do that, because you buy the easement rights. So that'd be something that I think would be important. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Trenier?
Mr. Van Dyne. Just one question. In 2011, when they did this plan, I don't think solar was ever even thought of then. I mean, as far as I don't think anybody was putting it up anywhere in Will County. And now we're hearing a lot about data centers. So I'm guessing they're going to be part of this conversation because I know there's a couple proposed, not only for the Joliet area, but one in Naperville. What is the next big thing coming that we haven't heard about yet that you might know of? Is there anything that's being talked about? Modular nuclear.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chair Butler?
So kind of hitting on what Chair Member Ogala had said, because I was just curious about the metrics involved and how you come about making a recommendation for, a road project, and how it affects the community or something like that. Like, is that go out to the county? Does your decision and your recommendation based on that specific demographics where that project is taking place? Or how does that happen?
So the plan is not going to look to a specific project that may come before you. Somebody would propose a development, industrial, commercial, residential, whatever. The plan's not going to look at specific projects. What it's going to do is it's going to say these kinds of areas are right for residential. These kinds of areas or these specific areas are right for rural ag preservation. And if you look at the map that's in the plan now, it's got this great kind of divide between general areas of rural, general areas of suburban, and right. And so the plan will set that out and say, this is a primarily rural area. These are the kinds of things that should happen there. And if somebody wants to do something there, these are the kinds of rules that it should follow. So it's not, the plan is not going to be recommending specific projects for land use developments that happen. It's going to say when somebody comes before you, somebody comes before the county and says, here's what we would like to do. The plan will say, well, here's what we want. Here's what the county wants to see here. We had this really thoughtful conversation about it in 26 and 27, and here's why, and here's what. And if you're going to do it, these are the rules you're to follow. So it's not about a specific project. It's sort of the rules of engagement, as I like to call them, of when somebody comes before you with a project.
Yeah, and I was just trying to narrow it down to help get an explanation. You got two different kinds of people that live in this county. You got those that live in municipalities and you got those that live in unincorporated areas. And believe me, the mindset is much different.
Yeah.
But people in municipalities, they like all these rules and stuff like that. But people out in the unincorporated areas, they moved out because they didn't like the rules and they want their land and they don't want anybody telling them how they're going to use it. So I would like to think that when you're doing this planning, that you are paying special attention to those demographics in the areas that you're making the recommendation for and not basing it on just what everyone in the county thinks. Because quite frankly, we have to protect the property rights of the people. And we are largely, as Member Ogala said, unincorporated. And right now, we stand to lose all of our farmland. We are leading the nation in losing farmland. And we'll have lost the most farmland than any other county in the whole country except for Maricopa County. So that is a major concern of people out here. And honestly, to me, I'm just going to say it. A strategic plan for the unincorporated area is just a way for that land to get used up even faster and be taken away from our farms. So I'm sorry, but I needed that answer.
And I would just say, I think it's a great question. They taught us in planning school a really long time ago. Agriculture is a land use, right? Agriculture is not land that's waiting for development. Agriculture is a land use, and there are places where that's the right land use. And your current plan acknowledges this, and the plan that we're all going to work on together is going to do the same thing. It's going to have different rules for these different areas. It's not going to apply suburban rules to agricultural and rural areas. So we definitely hear what you're saying.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Mr. Pretzel, Chair Pretzel.
Thank you, Chair Van Dyne. So this is more of a comment than a question, but I just wanted to say, Member Bollige's comments were, I think, spot on, and it has nothing to do with whether you support more solar projects or you don't want any more solar projects in Will County. If we were elected to represent Will County, we should want what's best for the residents and voters of Will County. And to me, that does mean maximizing fees. These companies coming in, I would be willing to bet I don't know if there's any of them that are from Will County. These are coming from different states, different countries sometimes. So I think it's in our best interest, and I think we owe it to our constituents that we look to seek the maximum fees in every way possible for these companies. And believe me, they can afford it.
Member Ogala?
Thank you. And one more thought. So before, we used to have A1 and A2 for agriculture, and A2 is like 5 acres. And there are some old parcels that are still out there that are designated A2, but we don't usually have A2. It's just A1, which is, I think, was the large parcel. But the change that we've seen is we do have a lot of people that have moved from the municipalities. They bought 5 or 10 acres and they are doing small farming, right? Well, small farming operations, whether they just have horses and grow hay, or they are planting vegetables on 3 acres or something. Could we look into like another zoning classification in the agricultural area that would benefit a family that would come out and they want to get into raising chickens and growing vegetables and things like that, but they would have like their own mini business, but they don't have enough money to buy a parcel that could be zoned A1 for agriculture. They're not going to do corn and beans or anything like that. That would be something I think that's changed, right? That's changed since 2011. People weren't doing these micro farms or whatever. So I think and it's not only in the agriculture area, but urban areas are doing that. And then maybe when you guys talk with the different municipalities saying, how does that fit? How can we work it out? That's something I was thinking about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Gentlemen, Mike and Michael and Colin, thank you for coming in. It sounds like you got a lot of great feedback from our members, and we look forward to you guys doing your due diligence and bringing back a very nice plan that fits the entire county. So thanks again.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Okay. Very good discussion on that. So moving on for new business, Resolution 253991, amending county board rules, proclamations for retiring Will County employees. This was, okay, we do have a motion, Trenier. Second, Freeman. I'll start off the discussion. As we know, we, as the board, decided we did not want proclamations. And then in the executive committee, I believe there was a taste for being able to honor our retiring employees at the county. It used to take a unanimous decision by the executive committee. So this amending the county board rules does not require that. So we do have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? Previous Newquist? Okay. Hang on one second. If you have a question, please hit your button. Mr. Butler?
Okay, so you want to change the rules for proclamations. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we've been through this. Are you just saying you want to change, you want to allow proclamations for only for retirement people? Is that it?
Go ahead, Mr. Pelkey. Where are you at?
There. The rule change stems from the discussion at last month's executive committee meeting. What it does is it maintains the current process, which is a unanimous vote for all proclamations, with the exceptions of proclamations for long-term employees who are retiring. And that would require just a simple majority vote on that. So that's the only exception to the rule change, people who are retiring. And there seemed to be some sentiment that would be a rule change that the board would be willing to entertain.
And what is the specific amount of years that determines a long-term employee?
The rules don't have, the change doesn't have any parameters for that.
So then how do we know?
Yeah, I think it's not really a time factor. It's just to honor the people that are retiring. So say they were here
And-
3 years and they retired from the county. We just wanted to give them the proper respect.
Well, and I don't have any problem giving them the proper respect. And I think that given everybody, the opportunity, everybody here would do that. When you said long-term employees, that makes you think that they're 20 or 30-year employees.
Well, I believe the title says proclamations for retiring Will County employees. So I don't know if long-term.
Skipping ahead.
Yeah. And just so we know, folks, this current vote will just have to be a simple majority at the executive committee to put onto the full board. So does that answer your question, Mr. Butler? Thank you. Mr. Pretzel?
I see what we're trying to do here. Obviously, I want to recognize good employees of the county, just like we did with the undersheriff here a couple weeks ago. But I do feel like, if we were addicts, we're taking a sip of booze here, because I was maybe one of the biggest, loudest voices against these proclamations, because I think they've done nothing but harm to this board.
Same.
And I just see the future here where we're going to have some really conservative retiree that the Republicans want to recognize, and the Democrats are going to have a problem with it, or the Democrats are going to recognize some really liberal person who's done a lot for pride rights or whatever it is, and we're going to have a problem with it. I don't know, because I don't have a crystal ball, but I just know the behavior of this board in the past. And for that reason, I don't agree with this. I think that we are on the right track by doing away with proclamations unless everybody on the executive committee can agree. Unfortunately, what's now happened is we're just arguing about it in executive committee instead of the full board, but I do think that's better.
All right.
I don't support this.
Thank you for your comment. Chair Freeman?
I just have to ask, so is this only like those who have received a check with the Will County stamp on it? Or, as I remember, the Farm Bureau, Mark retired, but he's not part of the county umbrella, but he kind of is.
That
That
was,
makes-
that was an exception, and I think we're looking too far deep into this.
Okay.
This is for retiring Will County employees.
So it has to have the stamp on the check to be part of the simple majority. Everything else would be a majority vote.
No, that would just be
Yeah.
an odd.
Mr. Schneiderwin, as you recall, was under the old rules and probably would continue to be under the old rules. So from someone outside of the county realm would still require a unanimous vote by the county
Oh, unanimous, that's
executive
right.
committee and, and then approval by the county
Yeah,
board.
I just used him as an
Yeah,
example.
But again, and this says retiring employees, we could always go back to if at the board's pleasure and add, I mean, I think the way the rules were written kind of contemplated, for example, retiring county board members as well, or board members who are stepping down as well to receive proclamations. We can be more specific on that if there's an amendment with regard to that. But again, this would just lower the threshold for retiring county employees to a simple majority of vote at the executive committee to move it on to the full county board.
I can be in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Trenier?
Thank you, Chair. My understanding is that this is for longtime county employees, and usually the only time we even recognize them is if they are somebody that interacts with the county board. We have never done proclamations just because somebody retired at 50 years of service, unless they were the head of a department, somebody that regularly presented to us. I mean, we've never had anybody come in front of us that we did a proclamation for that was retiring that we didn't know. And I'm sure there've been plenty of people that have retired, let's say, for example, from Sunny Hill, that have been, RNs for 30 years, but we don't do proclamations for them, never have. So I'm totally in support of this. This is fine. Thank you.
And just so we know, these proclamations come from the request of the county executive, and I'm sure that that person or she has, taken that into consideration as well. I have Member Newquist.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of going to ask, why don't we do this for all retiring employees? But I guess that would be a bit much. So I don't know why we would vote down a proclamation for somebody who was retiring, but I kind of answered my own question because really it would be too much to do it for everybody. I understand that this is kind of special recognition. I have no problem with this simple majority.
Thank you. Mr. Butler?
And just to be clear, to not vote for this or not to pass this doesn't mean that we would not vote for a proclamation for a employee. But I hate to be a stickler because honestly, I'm not even that good at English. You know what I'm saying? But I just, I always thought like, now therefore be it resolved. And then it says the service of long-term Will County employees. I mean, isn't that long-term? Am I missing something here? Maybe I'm not getting it right.
If there's a concern about the wording on it, we can certainly,
Well, I just
Change
wanted
the
the
word.
clarification of what a long-term employee was. And when I asked, you said it wasn't for long-term, but I'm reading it and in two spots, it says long-term. So I mean, I don't know, everybody else read it or?
again, I mean, it could say retiring employees. And again, it would require still a vote of the executive committee, a majority vote of the executive committee.
So
You could
this,
put a number in there as
well,
well.
I'm just
Mr.
saying,
Butler,
this
yeah.
says for an employee, long-term, I think 20 years, 30 years. But you said just just an employee who gave service. That could be 1 year. So, I mean, if we're going to do it, it's got to be specific. That's all.
All right.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
I guess if
the title says one thing, the body says another.
you're welcome to make an amendment if you wish, and it would be up to the executive committee to either agree or disagree with you.
That's my comment. I'm just saying
Okay.
it says two different things.
All right.
And you guys are explaining it different.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Any other discussion? All right, we have a first and a second. Let's ask for a roll, please.
Yes.
Richmond. Williams. Butler. Freeman. Hickey. Newquist. Oxley. Pretzel.
No.
Trinier. Winfrey. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Moving on. Number 3, Resolution 253953, proclamation honoring Will County Finance Director Karen Hennessy. Motion Newquist, second Trinier. Discussion? Mr. Pelkey.
And just to be clear, this would not apply under the new rule or under the new rule. The new rule hasn't been approved yet. So this proclamation would still require a unanimous vote.
Thank you for that clarification. Is there discussion? Can we have a roll, please? Yes.
Richmond. Williams. Butler. Freeman. Hickey. Newquist. Oxley. Pretzel. Trinier. Winfrey. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 254028, proclamation honoring Will County Recycling Program Specialist Marta Keen. Move Winfrey. Second Trinier. Discussion, Mr. Richmond?
So this doesn't have to do with MARTA, but we have now 2 proclamations to be read. Let's just say it moves forward, okay? We have 2 proclamations to be read, and based on some of the conversation from the prior item, what happens if we've got like 10 or 20 people retiring and we read these proclamations? This could be an hour or 2 event. Something that just hit me now. I mean, I get it. They probably have to have a little bit of discussion on how to move it forward if there were to be 5 or 10 or 15 for one meeting. So I just throw it out there, Joe.
Yeah. And, you know, if that were the case, I'm sure we could come up with something to try to shorten the, you know, the proclamations and maybe group them together. I don't anticipate the county executive bringing that many forward, but if she happens to, or the person in the future, we could probably address that at some point.
Okay.
Good point. Thank you. Member Ogala?
Sure. Sorry, I didn't mention this when you guys were talking about changing the rules for proclamation. Is it only the county executive that can bring forward a proclamation?
No, I'm being told no.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, so for example, Brian Conser last month was from the Sheriff's Department, and the recommendation came from the Sheriff's Department. You know, if the executive's office overlooks someone who may be retiring that a county board member knows or believes should be have a proclamation, the county board can always put that on the agenda as well. So it can come from a number of different places. Other agencies as well, other elected officials also can make those recommendations also.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that it was open to others, so thank you.
And our county board members, do they fall under the employee status?
I would think so. I would,
All right.
I would think that we would.
Not to try to
Yeah.
muddy the waters,
Yeah.
but, okay. Member Trinier?
We have always honored any county board member regardless of length of service when they depart the county board. And we've never done that by any kind of vote, nor have we considered it to be a proclamation.
At reorganization, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, before the reorganization, because it's the last meeting they
Correct.
attend, it's in November.
Correct. Okay, any other discussion on item number 4? We do have a clean roll. Is there a previous, or do you want to roll? Previous roll by Freeman, seconded by Oxley. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Item number 5, 25-3968, proclamation honoring Will County's 90th anniversary. 190th anniversary, my apologies. Moved by Oxley, seconded by Winfrey. Discussion on this item. Member Freeman?
So as much as I would like to celebrate 190 years anniversary of Will County, I will have to be a no on this one.
Okay.
It's not a retirement, it's just yay us. And we can do that during our public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Can I ask for a roll? Yep.
Richmond, Williams, Butler,
Yes.
Freeman, Hickey, Newquist, Oxley, Pretzel,
No.
Trinier, Winfrey, Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion carries.
What was the count on that, madam? Yeah,
Eight,
Yeah, it needs
eight
to
to
be
three.
done.
8-3.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It was not unanimous, so the motion fails. Number 6, 25-3977, executive appointment of Director of the Will County Finance and Budget Department, Rashawn Howard. Moved by Winfrey, seconded by Trinier. Discussion? Member Newquist?
I just want to say, excellent choice. I'm really pleased that Rashawn is moving up. It'll be hard to fill Karen's shoes, and I can't imagine anybody other than Rashawn doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Trinier?
I echo Member Newquist's comments. I feel sorry for the person who has to clean out Karen's office, but I visited there just last month. It was interesting. I think she was preparing. I think that's what was going on. But who's taking Rashawn's job? That's the person I'm curious about. Is that going to be a posted job or an internal promotion? Do you know?
I do not have an answer for that.
Okay, because
Would the county executive like to comment, or?
does anybody know yet?
Good question. Is Rashawn is the new director, we're going to give her some time to kind of figure out how she wants to structure that side of things
Gotcha.
on the budget side. And obviously Rashawn has such a deep knowledge on how the budget process works. She's got some ideas on there, but we're going to play it out for a handful of months and see what she thinks she's going to need to fill that role.
Sure, and we have time. So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. Lost track of where we're at. I believe we have a first and a second. Yes, we do. New roll, please. Would you stop turning your microphone off?
Richmond, Williams, Butler, Freeman, Hickey, Newquist, Oxley, Pretzel, Trinier, Winfrey, Van Dyne.
Yes.
Carries.
Motion carries. All right, number 7, 25-3985, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute an IGA with the city of Joliet and the Southeast Joliet Sanitary District regarding the dissolution of dissolve of the transfer of services of Southeast Joliet Sanitary District. Winfrey, Freeman, seconded. Previous. There is discussion. Mr. Oxley, Chair Oxley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The front page of this agreement says 2026 under the second paragraph. The second page under the 1, 2, 3. The 8th says 2025. There's a typo there. We need to clarify. Then also, the city of Joliet is going to be authorizing inspections under the plumbing rules of the Will County. Sometimes you get an overlap or not the same from Will County's plumbing rules to city of Joliet rules. We need to clarify that because that could create a hassle when this is all going on. And also I would suggest that the interior plumbing from the meter in is not inspected and not a problem, because you may get a plumbing inspector in there and say, well, this doesn't meet code, this doesn't meet code, and create the homeowner that's all they're doing is getting a new service, but create a problem if their plumbing is not up to the new codes. So I think there needs to be some clarification there. So there's no retribution and no problems for the homeowners of Southeast Sanitary District.
Well, lucky for you, we have Mrs. Bottomley here to try to answer some questions and maybe give you some clarification. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning. Thank you, Member Oxley. I do want to say that we can go ahead and make sure the dates are updated. That's, in my opinion, just a basic Scrivener's error. Just some additional insight and peek behind the curtain on this. You guys may probably remember our in-depth discussion that we had about this back in May. So this has been a long process. So that's part of why you have a typo in there of 2025. So we had written this and finalized this pretty much in August of 2025, but we weren't able to bring this forward and actually pass this until 2026, just based off of legislation that was passed. So we can go ahead and make sure those dates are updated. And then I do hear you and I understand about everything for plumbing inspections. I believe that's truly addressed in the next item on the agenda about our agreement with City of Joliet over plumbing inspections. So our goal is for this item, number 7, to work hand in hand directly with item number 8 on your agenda, which is a secondary agreement with City of Joliet about water meter replacements as well as inspections. So I believe we've done our due diligence to address this. I know that City of Joliet staff has been working directly with our inspectors to make sure we're on the same page and moving forward appropriately.
Right, and I just want to make sure we have no problems with homeowners getting tagged or a problem because their plumbing, some of them may have changed to plastic as a repair inside the meter. So I would suggest that we have some language that says from the meter in shall not be inspected or part of this program.
I believe that's been understood, but I can also verify with City that that's on.
Thank you.
That's absolutely clear, so.
Thank you. Ms. Trenier had a previous. Is there a second? Second, Hickey. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And I'll put number 8 on the floor, and then I believe Mrs. Bottomley has some more comments to make. Resolution 25-3988, authorizing the county executive to execute an IGA with the City of Joliet to perform water meter replacements for properties in the Southeast Joliet Sanitary District. Motion Winfrey. Second, Trenier. Ms. Trenier, would you like an explanation first or ask your question? Okay, go ahead.
Following up on Member Oxley's request, I know you said the one's a Scrivener's error, and I get it. You just changed the date, no big deal. But the other part, will that be somehow incorporated in this before next Thursday's full board meeting?
You're talking about the internal home inspections. I will need to go back and double check and make sure that that's understood and see if that's language that we want explicitly put within this. And I'm going to ask City of Joliet staff as well as our own building inspection department to see what they would like to see in this as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Any other questions before Ms. Bottomley explains? Okay.
Perfect. So as I mentioned, this is meant to go hand in hand with the resolution that you guys just passed. And the ultimate goal of this is really just overall government efficiency. There's about 750 active customers in Southeast Joliet Sanitary District. And as Joliet's going through and replacing meters and doing all the plumbing upgrades, it would be very burdensome for our staff to have to go out and inspect 750 homes. So it's an agreement that says Joliet has the liability on this, is going to make sure that they're following best practices, and they're going to be sending updated weekly reports to our staff to ensure that everything's being done to the best standards. So.
Member Trenier?
Who pays for this? Is it the Joliet Sanitary District or whatever the one was called? The Southeast Joliet Sanitary District? Are we, the county, paying for it, or is the City of Joliet paying?
It is CDBG funds that are being utilized for this.
Okay, I remember that discussion. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. Bottomley, I have in my notes that there may be a request for an amendment to this?
Yes, so the joys of trying to get together an IGA during the holiday season is that I got some last minute reviews and edits from this from City of Joliet staff yesterday. So there's just some minor changes in the language to make sure things agreed to. I believe that a edited copy and a marked up copy was shared with you guys. It's frankly pretty minimal, and just make sure that it aligns with saying that everything is City of Joliet licensed staff or licensed contractor that will be providing all of the work.
And one more follow-up, just so because I'm trying to remember, I know when we had all the discussion of ARPA funds, we dissolved one or two of these districts. Was this one of the ones that we were dissolving? Is that why we're using the CDBG money, or are they still going to exist?
So this district is dissolving. So part of
That's what I
the IGA that was voted on and approved already
That
is part of the dissolving process. So this is making sure that the entire system gets upgraded to the standards as Joliet continues to operate in that area.
Yeah, because they're putting in all brand new plumbing everywhere
Correct.
anyway. Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to make the amendment that was presented? Winfrey,
Second, Trinier.
second Trinier, discussion on the amendment? You have a clean roll? Is there a previous? Previous on the amendment is Hickey, seconded by Newquist. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed on the amendment? That motion carries. So I need a motion as amended. Thank you, Winfrey. Can't keep up. Did you get all that? All right, discussion on the full resolution. All those in, seconded, okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Is there any other new business to be brought forward? Leader Williams?
We do have another executive appointment to consider.
I believe that comes towards the end of the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you for the reminder. No other new business. We do not have a request for the state's attorney's opinion. So moving on to committee reports. Land Use and Development, Chair Pretzel.
Thank you, Chair Van Dyne. The Land Use and Development Committee will not be meeting in January, so I don't have anything to bring forth. But I do have a question for staff regarding the changes to the state legislation around solar farms. My understanding is that there's an RFP looking for more information as well. So I just was hoping for an update.
Sure. I have Paul here with me as well. So David Dubois, Director of the Land Use Department. The governor, I'm anticipating, has already signed, but was expected to sign the Clean and Reliable Energy or Reliable Grid Act this morning at JJC. And that does affect how the county is going to conduct business with regarding a variety of different energy related matters. This was passed in October. We knew it was coming. And so to get out ahead of it, we prepared and executed a contract with Hinshaw and Culbertson to review the legislation and advise the county on what needs to be done with regard to multiple different issues, including zoning and building permit or building ordinance issues, perhaps even with regard to fee schedules. So that what we will be doing is working with the Land Use Development Committee to address the requirements of the state legislation and bring the county into compliance from an ordinance standpoint, fee schedule standpoint, to address that legislation. So that's already in process. I know that they've already been reviewing the legislation, and if we haven't already received it, forthcoming would be an analysis of the legislation to give us a little bit further direction as to where we need to go. But again, we'll be working with the committee on that matter.
Thank you. Member Oxley?
Yes. Do we, for a solar farm, do they pay the impact fees that developers do for buildings and stuff like that?
We follow the adopted fee schedule for the building permits. There's no necessarily impact fees that you might see that you hear, typically hear about, like with municipalities. So for roads and things of that.
So we have no ordinance or provisions from the county side for the fire districts, libraries, park districts get impact fees from developments?
The impact fee is typically paid for library districts and park districts and things of that nature done through residential development, through the school impact fee ordinances. So it's not tied to solar. So
is there a way we can do that?
Again, that would be something under the review from Henshaw and Culberson. Anything under the new legislation that we can address, we will do so.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Member Butler.
I mean, did we lose the ability to approve or deny a special use permit?
again, that's going to be another review of Henshaw and Culberson. It's my understanding that the county can still accept special use permits, but again, we'll be reviewing the new legislation to determine what the impacts are on our processes.
Oh, I misunderstood you. Did you say that the governor was signing something this morning or?
It's, I have it shown on my laptop right now. It was this morning at 10:30 a.m. at JJC that he was supposed to be signing this year.
And but that part was not in there, the special use permits.
I don't know exactly. I mean, I can't answer the questions about what it may or may not have changed on the county process regarding special uses.
Thank you.
So I don't want to give you misinformation. So.
Okay, that covers the land use. Are you complete, Mr. Chairman? All right, thank you. Finance Chair Newquist.
Thank you. We had a number of standard items and I believe everything passed unanimously. So I don't expect anything to change for the board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Trenier, Public Works and Transportation.
Thank you, Speaker Van Dyne. Everything was unanimous with the exception of the new Motorola cameras for Illinois State Police. And we have voted to postpone that to next month. But everything else is on a consent agenda, should be fine. Boilerplate stuff.
Thank you. Chair Butler with Public Health and Safety.
We have nothing to move forward.
Very good, thank you. Legislative. Chair Winfrey.
Good morning. We have
Morning.
the federal and state agenda moving forward to the full board. Other than that, nothing.
Thank you. Capital improvements. Chair Freeman.
Thank you. I have nothing to bring forward. We did make some progress on looking on an AI procedure for the county. We're not quite there yet, but we have made some progress. And the other one is next month, hopefully we'll make progress on our capital improvement facility needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Landfill Committee, Chair Oxley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very new to this, as you know. Mr. Richmond and Ms. Hickey, we toured the landfill and the gas plant. We've got some thoughts and changes coming forward. Staff has been directed to bring that to our committee meeting in January. I think we'll be coming forward looking for some money for some improvements, but it's stuff that long-term from the outside right now, we're looking at a 2-year payback for the expenditure and a couple things on leasing equipment that's there all the time to purchase. And that's all coming up at committee in January, I think it's 13th.
February 13th? January 13th? Next week?
Next week, yes.
Yeah, with the holidays, it's.
What day is it?
Yeah, what day is it? Yeah, because we have our full board on the 15th, so I was.
Yes,
yeah.
I think it's 13th. then.
Okay.
Tuesday it'll be.
All right.
Thank you.
That completes landfill. Moving on to executive, we all just sat through that, so I will move on to appointments by the county executive. Resolution 25-3989, approving county executive appointments to the Workforce Investment Board of Will County. Motion Trenier, second Hickey. Previous Winfrey. Second Newquist. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. 25-3990, approving county executive appointments to the Community Mental Health Board of Will County. Motion Trenier. Second Newquist. We do have some discussion. Mr. Richmond. Vice Chair Richmond, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you. So I think on this here, seeing as there are 3 of them, we should probably separate them out because there's going to be some discussion on at least one of them. So.
Okay. Give me a second here. I'll pull them up. All right. Yeah, we do in fact have 3 names, so by request, we can do these individually. Let's start with the approval of Juhi Fahim. Motion Trinier, second Winfrey. Previous Freeman, second Newquist. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Second, we will go with the appointment of, Khadijah Sufi. Motion Trinier, seconded by Winfrey. Discussion, Mr. Richmond.
So I did take the time to read through everybody's submissions and that. And with this one, I do have a couple of challenges. This person does work for as the chief of staff of an elected office. And in reading through her biography, she doesn't have any real mental health experience other than what her and her family experienced during COVID. I thought the position on the mental health board was for it to be able to establish or be established with professionals from the mental health area from all different perspectives of, clinical professionals, educators, that type of stuff. And I think in this case here, I would like to see somebody with higher qualifications on that board. I mean, we've all identified that mental health is a serious issue here in the United States to some degree. Some people say it's not as bad as others do, but I think if we're going to have a mental health board, we should fill that board with the highest level professionals that we could find that can help support Tina in her efforts, especially with the amount of dollars that we're moving towards mental health. So that's all I have.
Thank you for your comment. Member Hickey.
Hi, yes. I hear what you're saying. I looked over, I happen to know Khadijah for several years now. She has chaired a group in South Naperville. I believe it's called Chai Talk. It is it's under the auspices of NAMI, and I believe she was on the NAMI advisory committee, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Okay, so I mean, I think that those are some fairly concrete bona fides. And I just think that, yeah, I understand what you're saying from looking at the application. I do wish that she would have added those things on there, but she has been a leader in our area in that regard.
Thank you for your comment. Member Ogala.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if she is a leader in the area, this is pretty open for when somebody is looking to be appointed to a board to put their information and their background, why you'd want to say yes to them. And she didn't list that. I don't know why she didn't. I don't know that she did that. She's not from my area. I also think it could create a big conflict of interest if we start appointing chief of staffs from representatives and senators within the state of Illinois, because the influence becomes so much greater versus just a person who's a member of the community. Somebody who's a chief of staff, as you know, has influence in more ways than just a member of the community. So I think that, I know myself, I would be voting no on this particular appointment. I think that it should be somebody who has more background and experience than what she listed in her letter, which is all I have to go on.
Thank you for your comment. Member Trinier.
Thank you, Speaker Van Dyne. I actually, she was my employee when she created this Chai Talk group and has shared with me over multiple occasions, long before she went to work for the state rep, the success of the group and the outcome and the desires of why she formed it. But I also noted here under qualifications, it clearly said, as well as the general public. So I don't think there's anything that requires them to have, some sort of mental health background, unless I'm misreading this. As you looked to the big screen there, under qualifications, it does say, as well as the general public. So I'm fully in support of it. I'm not concerned with her working for a member of the House in the state. That member has her own mind and is going to do what she wants to do and isn't going to do something just because a staff member tells her to. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments? Can I ask for a roll, please?
Richmond. Williams. Butler. Freeman. Hickey. Newquist. Oxley. Pretzel. Trinier. Winfrey. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Yeah, 6, it passes.
Motion carries. Thirdly, we have looking for a motion to appoint Timothy McGannon. Is there a motion? Moved by Winfrey, second Hickey. Discussion? Can I have a roll call, please?
Richmond. Williams. Butler. Freeman. Hickey. Newquist. Oxley. Pretzel. Trinier. Winfrey. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, moving on to number 3 on our agenda. 25-3992, approving county executive appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission of Will County. Motion Trinier, second Freeman. Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I think I can move this since we are on the appointments, correct? Can I move this? Wait until the end? Okay. Okay, all right. So announcements and reports by chair. I would just like to congratulate our Will County Finance Director, Karen Hennessy, on her retirement. I would also like to congratulate our Will County Recycling Program Specialist, Marta Keene. I want to make a special announcement to congratulate Will County on their 190th anniversary. Congratulate Rashawn Howard on her appointment to the new Director of Will County Finance and Budget Department. And also, I believe we have a gentleman that was here earlier, Mr. Dan Jungles, that was appointed to the new undersheriff with the retirement of Brian Concert. So congratulations to him. That's all I have under announcements. We do not need executive session this morning, so yeah. All right, the state's attorney has something to add.
So I know there's an additional appointment you want to add to the agenda. In the previous, we've just made a motion to save a space for that agenda item. So that would be the one I would ask for rather than trying to pass it forward.
Okay, so this amendment, motion to amend, it's with the Elwood Fire District, and the reason being, we're trying to add it now. It was a time constraint, and if we cannot pass this appointment next week, unfortunately, the Elwood Fire District will not be able to meet because they will not have a quorum due to vacation and retirement. So I have a motion to save space for the appointment on the Elwood Fire District for next week, seconded by Mr. Oxley. Previous roll, second Hickey and Freeman. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. Now I need a motion to approve the county board agenda as amended. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion will carry. And a heads up, next meeting is scheduled for February 11th, 2026, which is a Wednesday, due to Lincoln's birthday holiday on a Thursday. So make sure you mark those in your calendars. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion Trinier, seconded by Winfrey. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your lunch.